there. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel, watching the next video. I'm excited because I'm gonna be starting a reading vlog today. There's this readathon being hosted by one of my favorite YouTubers, Gabby Reads, and she hosts every summer and in the middle of winter hosts a summerween and a winterween, which is basically an excuse to read a bunch of thrillers and sometimes horror books, but I'm not super into horror, so that's why these challenges were a little hard for me. But I think I found the perfect books. But all week long, you follow these challenges and you read basically as much as you can the whole week. It's like a big readathon. I thought I'd talk to you guys a little bit about the challenges, what I've already read, and what I'm still planning and hoping to get to the rest of this week. Got my little notebook I've been planning. So yeah, it's exciting. There's 5 challenges and I've already read one book and I've listened to a quarter of the thriller that I'm listening to right now on audio. That one's a longer one, so I was like, I should listen to that one on audio. It's like 666 pages if I were to physically read it, but I decided it'd be nice to have 1 or 2 or even 3 audiobooks as part of my readathon for the week to help me kind of still be able to work and get the reading done that I want to. The first challenge is bake or make a drink with your spooky read, and I have not come up with an idea for this one. I'm still gonna be browsing Pinterest, and I'm thinking about doing like a fun drink that the kids and I can share too. The next challenge is to read a book in the dark, and I have a couple contenders for this one. The first one is called Play Dead by Ted Dekker. He's kind of a Christian suspense author. He and Frank Peretti actually co-wrote a horror book, Christian horror book. Is that a thing? It is, because that book scared the heck out of me, called House, which is like a haunted house story, and it was really, really creepy. So this is his new book. He wrote it during quarantine and it just recently came out. I ordered it on Amazon and then realized it's not gonna maybe get to me until, it says between July 8th and July 13th. And so if it really does come in that time, then I wouldn't get it in time for the readathon. So that's why I have a backup contender, which is In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. Ruth Ware, she and I have a rocky relationship. So I'm excited to give this one a try because I believe one of the main characters is like a crime author, and I thought that was a really fascinating piece to add to a character in a thriller. So I'm excited to give that one a try if Play Dead does not come in time. Third challenge is to read a paranormal book, and again, I don't read a lot of horror. I really, really don't. Like it's just not my thing. I can't do like gore. I can't do heavy gore like that at all. So for this one, I actually am already 25% of the way through it. The Oath by Frank Peretti, which is, I think it fits the trope it fits the challenge because it's actually about a monster who comes and eats you if you sin. It's not straight up gore so far, but it's really psychologically creeping me out. And one time Matt like snuck up on me yesterday when I was listening to it and I jumped really high in the air. So I'm excited for that one. It's going really well so far. The next challenge that we have to fulfill is read a thriller or a horror, which is super vague. And I love that because it kind of gives me a lot of contenders, and I'm actually going to be trying a Rayleigh novel for the first time. This one is called Lock Every Door. I got it last month in my book of the month, and which was so, out of my element. I don't read stuff like that ever. Essentially what it's about is this woman who goes and apartment sits in this building that is said to be haunted. So I guess that could fill in the paranormal one too. And then all this weird stuff starts happening and her neighbor actually disappears as well. So it sounds really creepy and I'm really excited to give it a try. And so this is one that I also was thinking I could read in the dark a little bit too, but I don't know. I'm really, really freaked out by that kind of stuff. So I might have to read it during the day. Oh, I'm sounding like such a pansy. Like, Hannah, why are you doing a thriller/horror readathon this week? These are questions even I can't answer. The next challenge that we have to cover is read a book where there's black or orange in the cover. And so actually the cover for The Oath fills this because it's got black and red and orange in it. And also Play Dead by Ted Dekker. The cover for this one would also fill that. And again, I don't even know if I'm going to get to all of these, but I hope to at least read 3. Another book that I actually have already finished on audio was The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So that, again, that goes in obviously into the thriller reading challenge. It was definitely really creepy and psychological, and it's kind of more like Agatha Christie vibes than watching a thriller movie. Technically, I've already read 1, and I'm a quarter of the way through the next one, The Oath, and I have 6 more days. So I think it's totally doable. But I for sure want to finish The Oath and read Lock Every Door by Rayleigh Sager. Hello, it is seriously 2 days later because I did 0 updates yesterday, and that's because I really did not get a lot of reading done. It was the 4th of July. Yeah, we just had a lot going on, so there wasn't really any time to read. I think I've made it about 40 pages into Lock Every Door by Rayleigh Sager, and I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's really working to create the atmosphere right now where all these spooky and terrifying things are going to be happening. Monday nights are the nights that Matt takes the kids to his brother's house for their guys' night every week. So I stay home and either do cleaning and listen to audiobooks, or I get a lot of like batch work done for business. And so hopefully tonight, since I'm doing this readathon, I'm gonna have some reading time. And then with The Oath, I have made it, I think, about 60% of the way in. This book is so long. And these are my feelings so far. I am honestly really bored. I'm pretty bored. It was thrilling at first when the first couple people, died from the dragon. The guy, he's going in search of the dragon in its lair. So bear in mind, this guy talks a little slower, and I do listen to it at 2 times speed. But if I had been listening to it at one time speed, just standard speed, I would probably have skipped the chapter. I would have been so freaking bored. Like, the descriptions are so unnecessary, so long. Like, no wonder people call Frank Peretti the Stephen King of Christian horror. I don't know. I'm really bored right now. I don't want to DNF it, but it's like I have 6.5 hours left to go, and that's a little discouraging because that's a lot of time that I'm committing to this book when I could be reading something else that I'm actually enjoying. I don't know. Maybe it'll pick up. But that's where I'm at with my reading right now. I'm hoping to either finish The Oath today or tomorrow. I feel like, I've made it, 10 hours in to this audiobook, and to quit now would have been like 10 hours of a waste. So I feel like I need to see the story through. So I'm going to finish. I am going to finish it. Another quick update on The Oath. I have made it to chapter 20. So I'm about 75% of the way through it. Things are picking up. I was waiting for this. I was just super bored for a while there. Gosh, if somebody asked me if this was truly scary, I would say probably not. It's probably not as scary as I thought it would be. Although Matt did bring home a giant fake tree from the move he went on last week. And I did wake up in the middle of the night thinking that it was a dragon in my room. So, do with that what you will. All right, I just finished The Oath by Frank Peretti on audio. And I'm going to be honest, I really did not love it. I really wanted to, and I think that perhaps some of it might be because I'm really not used to reading that long of books. Like, this book was almost 700 pages long. I did listen to it on audio, but I felt that some of it was way unnecessary to include in the story, and if those tidbits were not included, it may have even made this story a little more thrilling than it was to me. Man, I don't know. Maybe I'll add some more thoughts like in my quarterly wrap-up, but I did it. I finished my second book for my readathon, and hopefully I'm going to enjoy Lock Every Door a little bit more than I enjoyed this one. So I just took a quick bath while I was reading Lock Every Door by Rayleigh Sager. And I am, let's see here, I just made it to chapter 16, which is page 121. And my goal tonight was to get to around page 175. And I think I can do it. But there's another challenge for this readathon, which is to read in the dark. And so I'm going to light this candle that Matt got me when he was in New York, which is really, really cool. It's shaped like a football. And so this whole wick lights up. And I've been really, really obsessed with candles lately. So I think this is going to be kind of like the perfect little addition to my night in. Good morning. It is the next morning. I did read a little more last night of Lock Every Door by Rayleigh Sager. I'm really, really hooked, really intrigued. It wasn't necessarily scaring me last night yet, I don't think, but I didn't have to start work right away this morning. So I've just been sitting here reading, and I just started my coffee, and a huge kind of revelation has come about, and it's kind of starting to get really creepy. I think I'm gonna read maybe like a couple more chapters, and then unfortunately I'm gonna have to put it down until I get my work done for the day. I think that this book might scare my pants off, so we will see how it goes, and I'll keep checking in. All right, y'all, I lied to you in the last clip. I said I was only going to read like 60 pages. I finished this book. I finished it, all of it. I sped through it. This book was such a wild ride, and you know, the ending was good. I did guess one of the twists very early on. It was kind of obvious to me, I guess. Maybe it's not going to be obvious to everyone, but I did guess that one twist. But I had no idea how dark the ending was going to be. Like, this was really dark. This is a thriller, and with a touch of horror, I would say. A thriller with a touch of horror. And this book is not for everyone. I cannot stress that enough, especially knowing the people that follow me who are more into like romance and lighthearted things. This is not for everyone. But I had a blast reading it. I really, really did. I did really enjoy it, and I'm shocked that this is day 5 and I finally finished my 3rd book. Yay! So hopefully, because my goal was like, okay, well maybe I can finish 3 books, but now my goal is to hopefully finish 4. Just ignore this lighting, but I haven't updated you in a while, and it's because ever since I finished A Lock Every Door by Rayleigh Sager, I have not slept very well. Okay, I was really creeped out by that book. And again, I don't read scary stuff a lot. I mean, I read thrillers, which can kind of be scary, but this was like a touch of horror, and I really don't read that very much. So I've had a little lack in motivation to start another one. And I was like, you know, my goal for the readathon was to read 3 books in a week. And so I was like, you know, I already hit it. I don't know if I'm going to start another one. Plus, I actually did start In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware, and I was so flippin' bored out of my mind. I was like, I'm not going to like torture myself through this book. You know what I mean? I'm not going to force myself to read it. And so I DNF'd that one for a little bit. Not sure if I'll pick it back up, but I decided to start, I think it's called Behind Her Eyes by B.A. Paris. This is my first B.A. Paris book, but it's only an 8-hour long audiobook, and I listened to it a little faster on on Scribd, which I listen to audiobooks on. So I should be able to finish it today. And tonight at midnight is when the readathon wraps up. So I think I might get 4 books read this week, which is a lot for me, okay? It's a lot for me. Did a little time lapse, but I do need to use my phone now to upload some videos. So this is me working and listening to a new audiobook. Okay, I just finished that gosh darn book, and that was very creepy, very creeped out. That was, so basically the only thing you know going in is that, oh, by the way, the book is called Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. But all you know going in is that it's this seemingly perfect married couple. But there's also weird things about her, about the wife. Like, she doesn't have a phone. She doesn't take anything when they go out in public anywhere. And her husband is always the one that answers the phone. Sorry, I'm checking on my dinner. It's gonna be good. And that's all you know. And that's, if you're gonna read it, that's all I want you to know. So I'm not gonna say anymore. So there's quite a few trigger warnings for psychological abuse, pretty heavy psychological abuse. While none of it is violent, it's very, very suspenseful and psychologically disturbing, like really disturbing. So I think I will say some spoilers here, just in case you have read it and you wanted to hear my thoughts. I'll put a little warning down here. I thought the ending was kind of predictable. There's no way that this whole book is going to be like a buildup of discovering how she got into his captivity and not like have any sort of attempt at vengeance. And so like the repeated attempts at escaping and then him catching her kind of got old, although it did kind of make that last scene a little thrilling. But I did know like obviously she's gonna have to get away or kill him. Like that's the only way. So it was kind of cool that Millie came up with the idea. So I did like that, but it was great. And that means that I finished my 4th book like the night that Summerween is ending. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so this vlog has been in my queue for way too long, and it's actually almost fully edited. I just have not filmed an outro clip. And also, as I was editing it, I realized I was not very clear about the fact that I was reading another book. I just was like, boom, I read another book. So I'm gonna go through all of them briefly to remind you what I read. But first of all, I want to say, oh my gosh, this vlog was so much fun to make. I had so much fun reading scarier books than I may have normally read, and finally reading The Oath, which I had been wanting to read since college. I actually ended up reading 4 books for this vlog, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that. I did listen to most of them, but that's okay. I don't want to necessarily buy all the books that I read, so it's kind of nice to experience it in that way and not feel like it's taking up more bookshelf space. The first book I read in this reading vlog was The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and I did enjoy my time reading it. I think mostly because the ending was very satisfactory to me. It was very satisfying, although the more I think about that book after I've read it, the less I feel like I would necessarily recommend it. There's just a lot of like explicit content that I don't think everyone would enjoy, at least in my follower base right now, based on conversations I've had with people. But it's good. It's a really highly hyped book. I'll put a list of triggers right here or right here, somewhere up in here, so you guys can decide if it's a book that you'd like to try or not. I did end up giving it 3 stars. I think that's mostly because some of the content was like just not my thing. I didn't enjoy it. But yeah, that's The Guest List. Next, I read The Oath by Frank Peretti, which is such a highly hyped book in the Christian community. It's very what you would expect a Christian horror to be like. And Frank Peretti's been called the Stephen King of Christian horror. And I definitely can see that. And one of the reasons I can see that is because he just goes on and on and on and on. I was so bored most of this book, and I ended up giving it 2 stars. I really wish I would have enjoyed it more, but I simply did not. The next book in the vlog I physically read, and that is Lock Every Door by Rayleigh Sager. And gosh darn, if this book was not out of my comfort zone. I have never read a thriller like this before, ever. Honestly, it's borderline horror for me, and I will say I really enjoyed it. Maybe it's because the longer I've been married to Matt, the more kind of twisted psychological movies we've watched together. Maybe it's kind of easing me into that genre, but I really enjoyed this book. I think I said I gave it 3 stars, but I'm gonna give it 4 stars because that ending, I just can't stop thinking about it. And it actually genuinely scared me. Like, I was really scared. And when I wake up in the middle of the night, I think about that ending. So, I mean, do with that what you will. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end up giving it 4 stars instead of just 3. And finally, to end the vlog, I read Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. And this book really took me by surprise. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 3 or 3.5 stars, but I'm still thinking about it. And it was just so well crafted by B.A. Paris, this whole story. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to everyone. I'll put a list of triggers right by me, but I personally enjoyed it. It really creeped me out, so it was perfect for this little scary vlog. Yeah, I really did enjoy making this reading vlog, and hopefully I'll get to make more like this very soon. If you've made it this far, go ahead and leave me a comment of if you do or if you do not like scary books. Leave me a comment. Tell me if you do or don't. I want to hear. I want to hear. Because maybe I'm not going to keep bending over backwards to try to read more scary just so I can recommend it. If you want to see more content from me like this, please feel free to subscribe. It would mean so much. And God willing, I will see you in the next one. Bye.